tech fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Caitlin Clark, by the way, absolutely silenced everybody yesterday. The woke media was all on her. I hate to even mention this complete jackass, Jemele Hill, and others were all in her business. It's white privilege. She hits these threes. Man, I don't give a damn if it's white, black, or green privilege. Jemele Hill, she blames the media for covering Caitlin Clark. She's tremendous on television. What a missed opportunity for the national media to really evaluate who she was as a person. Why? Whereas it feels like our black athletes get the same amount of coverage, whereas for black athletes to get the same amount of coverage or even fair coverage, there has to be something extra beyond basketball. No. You choose to do that.
The WNBA isn't just about basketball anymore. It's now a full-blown reality show starring politics, drama, and double standards. Caitlin Clark plays defense, somehow ends up the villain, while Angel Reese perfects the victim act and rides the sympathy wave. Enter Jemele Hill, tossing around racial undertones like confetti, and suddenly a hard foul becomes a headline. And Rhyne Howard ready to throw hands like it's a reunion episode, and you've got a league more focused on narratives than hoops. This isn't about basketball, it's about who controls the story.
Their nails. Jemele Hill. The fact that she believes that Caitlin Clark is receiving more coverage than a lot of the other black players. I don't like that Jemele Hill said this. I feel like she's always looking for an excuse to race bait. That's her whole identity, and I just don't like this. Caitlin Clark is phenomenal. She is just that good. She's setting all types of records, scoring, assists. I mean, she is incredible. So she deserves the amount of...
Oh, great. Just when you thought Caitlin Clark's rookie season couldn't get any more explosive, here comes the 4K Ultra HD showdown between Indiana Fever's standout and Atlanta Dream's Rhyne Howard, because apparently basketball has turned into a Hollywood spectacle. It's less about the game and more like a low-budget Game of Thrones episode in gym shorts, complete with drama, tension, and over-the-top moments. The sport seems to have traded skill for spectacle, leaving fans wondering if they're watching a fierce competition or an elaborate reality TV stunt.
Hey, sports supporters, well, guess what? One of the master race baiters from the world of sports, if you still want to say she's involved in the world of sports, is back at it again. I'm talking about Jemele Hill, who is one of the integral reasons why Around the Horn no longer exists on ESPN.
The newest installment of Who Can Body Slam Caitlin Clark Without Getting Ejected played out live on some random hardwood in America. And of course, the internet, always the model of civility, didn't hold back. Just kidding. Instead, they erupted in chaos, torching the debate and throwing it into a metaphorical volcano. Instead of a calm discussion, social media turned into a battleground of fiery takes and wild reactions.
One person that's been definitely weighing in on this Caitlin Clark drama has been Jemele Hill. This is season 2 of Caitlin Clark and the Fever, and now we have a new Jemele Hill rant. She is one person that's been pretty vocal about everything. The Angel Reese situation, now this Rhyne Howard thing, which I thought was not a big deal whatsoever. Reported on it yesterday. She did kind of get into Caitlin Clark's head, kind of psyched her out. I believe that's why Caitlin Clark played so bad. But some new footage has emerged of the...
So what's the latest? Just a routine sideline moment where Rhyne Howard went all Secret Service on Caitlin Clark, pressing her aggressively as if trying to extract top secret information. Then the moment everyone's talking about, a now famous line caught on microphone or perhaps just lip-read by 47 million internet sleuths and their cats saying, "I'm not scared of you and you in Atlanta." It's the kind of exchange that sparks endless debate and viral memes.
Got Caitlin Clark taking it back, and you can see the hold there. Then Rhyne Howard doesn't like that. And there's some words between the two players as Naz Hillman quickly comes over and gets her bestie out of the scuffle.
If you're curious, that line is pretty much the WNBA's version of slapping someone with a velvet glove in 18th century France. Pistols at dawn, anyone? Just as the dust from that fiery exchange was beginning to settle, Jemele Hill stormed into the scene, hitting the chaos with the subtlety of a wrecking ball soaked in lighter fluid. Hill chimed in, urging everyone to chill out because it's just competition. But let's be real, this so-called competition involves body checks, intentional bumps, trash talk, and psychological warfare, making it
Fever, and we're going to be talking about something that was an interesting one. It was a really, really interesting one, and it was the kind of interactions between Rhyne Howard and Caitlin Clark. And if we're going to be honest, Rhyne Howard 100% got the better. Ryan Howard, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, got the better of Caitlin Clark today on both ends of the floor. But these were some hilarious responses. So Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard get into it here. So Ryan Howard he was fouling Caitlin Clark the whole game, and is going into Caitlin Clark coming back to Ryan Howard. I'm not scared of.
Apparently, Caitlin Clark isn't being targeted. She's just experiencing character development. Or so they claim. If by character development you mean being elbowed in the kidneys every other possession and guarded like she stole someone's lunch money, it's as if the only reason people are concerned about Clark getting mugged mid-dribble is because she's white. Not because she's the league's rising star. Or because the WNBA desperately needs viewers and she's being tackled like a running back every night. Hill's supporters applauded her perspective, nodding along as if she'd just cured WNBA Twitter's collective sinus infection. Meanwhile, genuine sports fans, who've watched Clark be harassed and fouled repeatedly, started questioning whether Hill was watching the same league or simply throwing darts at hot takes written in crayon. The stark contrast between perception and reality highlights the deep divide. Some see a league of intense competition, while others see racial undertones where none may exist. It's a complicated, controversial issue that continues to spark debate.
I have to talk about this. The post from Brittany Griner, and I don't. One thing I don't understand is that, like, there is some kind of flimsy evidence, I guess. Like, we're not lip readers. We're not lip readers. She probably says trash. Like, it sounds like she has said. It looks like what it apparently says is effing white.
But let's pause here and face the truly wild reality we're living in. Caitlin Clark might be the only athlete on earth who can score 30 points and still get blamed for breathing too loudly near another player. And the coaching strategies? They're no less insane. If you think this is just players going rogue with WWE-style moves, think again. Some coaches are drawing up plays like Amber, full court of press until she questions her life choices. Jada, I want you to accidentally hip check her into the third row. And Megan, you're on eyebrow patrol. Scowls only, no mercy. The strategy is clear. If you shut down Caitlin Clark, you shut down the Indiana Fever, and maybe, just maybe, you'll get a quick highlight on SportsCenter before they cut back to LeBron's summer workout montage. But let's be honest, this isn't tough defense. It's an exorcism disguised as a basketball game. Players are swiping at her like she's a pesky mosquito in July. One moment she's dribbling up the court, and the next, she's tangled in limbs and elbows, resembling a scene from Mission Impossible. Elbow protocol. The physicality has reached such absurd heights that it's almost comical, a spectacle of chaos that leaves fans wondering if they're watching basketball or a staged WWE event.
Should be celebrated, and it's because of Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. What's your opinion if they want your opinion, man, early on, because everybody is looking for you to say anything, and they're going to splice it and cut it and make it a negative thing. And I think for her, the one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. I saw for the first time that they had a chartered plane.
And yet, somehow, every time a player body checks Caitlin Clark into next week, the media responds with a resounding meh. That's just basketball. Really? Because I played basketball, and at no point did I have to consider wearing a mouthguard to prevent biting my own tongue during a headlock. The entire situation has spiraled so far out of control that Caitlin probably checks under her bed for defenders before she sleeps. And let's not forget the Kennedy Carter incident, because nothing screams normal basketball contact like walking into someone's back at the speed of sound, purely out of hostility. It wasn't defense, it was pent-up Twitter rage, the musical. Now, it's Rhyne Howard's turn. Another episode, another chapter in how to pretend this is just hustle when it's actually a mugging. The cherry on top? Jemele Hill retweeting the video and lecturing everyone like she's the WNBA's Supreme Court. She's essentially telling fans, calm down, peasants, this is just how competition works. It's not targeted, it's not excessive. It's spirited aggression wrapped in a hug of animosity. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out there getting cross-checked like she owes someone child support. But don't worry, it's all just intensity. Want to know what's not just basketball? Repeatedly targeting the league's most marketable player as if she's wearing a jersey that says, "Please tackle me, I enjoy it." If Caitlin Clark were a Disney princess, every other player would be the evil stepsisters trying to steal her shoes and push her down the stairs.
But it was a rough night for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Last night, she only scored 3 points and a blowout loss to the New York Liberty. But it was a game on Saturday between the Fever and the Chicago Sky that had a lot of people talking. Fans were so hyped for Caitlin, Angel Reese, and Camila Cardoso to all be back on the same court. However, the moment that made headlines, this right here, the hard foul involving Clark and Kim.
And the WNBA leadership? Oh, they're doing a fantastic job standing up for player safety. By fantastic, I mean they're hiding under their desks, praying the ratings don't plummet if Caitlin Clark decides to play overseas next season, where rumor has it basketball is played with, get this, rules. Let's talk about league leadership again. Where is the WNBA commissioner on vacation? Meditating in a soundproof tank? Because while Clark is out there being treated like she's trying to cross enemy lines, the top brass is completely MIA. If you listen closely, you can hear the deafening silence of leadership in Dolby Atmos. Some of you might be thinking, well, she asked for it. She's popular. Oh, so now being famous means it's open season? That's the new logic? Someone better tell Beyoncé to watch out for elbow drops at her next concert. Clark didn't crown herself the face of the WNBA. The league did. The networks did. The fans did. And now she's being treated like she tried to cheat in American Gladiators. She's become the Hunger Games tribute of women's basketball, fighting through a gauntlet of hostility while the league's leadership watches from the sideline, silent and absent.
Foul down at 6, and it was the ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier.
He's literally driven so many eyeballs to the game. Like they ain't flying commercial, they're flying charter. They're gonna make more money. They're playing on ESPN consistently. People are actually talking about it. Now they talk about it through the vein of Caitlin Clark. You're never gonna hear a topic on ESPN discussed that doesn't involve Caitlin Clark somehow, most likely.
And let's not ignore the fact that this beat her into submission approach might be the worst idea since someone decided to reboot Cats. Do they truly believe it will work in the long run? Spoiler alert, it won't. If Caitlin Clark ends up injured or even worse, walks away, it's a huge loss for the league. Congratulations, you've just lost your star and handed her over to the EuroLeague, where she'll be dropping 50 points a game, sipping espresso, and facing defenses built with actual basketball skills. The WNBA should be genuinely concerned about this. Clark attracts millions of fans who finally found the league engaging, exciting, and marketable. Fans who bought tickets, jerseys, and ESPN Plus subscriptions just to see her perform, only to watch her get body slammed like it's Rookie edition. If she leaves, it's not just a player departing, it's a mass exodus. The league will be left scrambling, wondering where all the viewers went, trying to promote a double overtime game between Connecticut and Chicago that draws fewer eyes than a simple tutorial on making toast. This isn't about protecting Clark because she's some fragile princess. It's about avoiding the normalization of assault as a defensive tactic. This isn't hockey. There's no need for physical fights every time someone hits a 3. The league needs to realize that protecting players means enforcing rules that promote safety, not encouraging unnecessary violence.
Caitlin Clark's treatment by other players on the court is just getting to be egregious. Because as we saw Trinity Carter, she hip-checked Caitlin Clark from behind, at the same time calling her the B word. You could see Angel Reese over on the sideline cheering. This is treatment that Caitlin Clark is receiving for very specific reasons. I think we really need to focus on the race part of all of this, because I do believe that if Caitlin Clark were this amazing and she were not white, nobody would have an issue with it. They probably would be propping her up, celebrating her greatness. And another question that I keep asking myself when reading the coverage on this is what would happen if the roles were reversed?
We're not saying Clark shouldn't be challenged. She definitely should. As a professional athlete, she's prepared for tough competition. But there's a significant difference between healthy rivalry and outright vendettas. What we're seeing now isn't just offense. It's a dangerous mix of contact sport and personal grudges, happening without proper whistles or penalties. Ironically, Clark probably doesn't even want special protection. She's out there giving her all, playing with heart, not flopping for sympathy or calls. That doesn't mean she should be used as a punching bag by every frustrated guard with a chip on her shoulder or a Twitter beef to settle. The saddest part? It's clear she probably no longer enjoys this. Every game feels like a countdown to the next incident, the next altercation, the next ridiculous hot take blaming her for everything. It's absurd how players act as if they're paid per shove, and coaches seem to follow some outdated playbook from Sun Tzu, prioritizing chaos over sportsmanship. Meanwhile, the league acts like this will all blow over once the playoffs come around. But that's wishful thinking. Unless the WNBA grows a backbone, disciplining reckless behavior, and starts treating its stars as valuable assets instead of expendable cannon fodder, this cycle will only escalate and damage the sport's integrity.
One other thing I did want to talk about was the commentary, where it was slightly adversarial, kind of to the viewer and a little bit, I would say, to the WNBA. They were pounding heavy that this is how the women want to be treated. Unrivaled has gone above and beyond with the amenities for the players, down to having estheticians there. Of course, they have childcare options. They have, the gym. For complete first-class facilities in every aspect, and this has been, something that the players have really celebrated, and it seems like it's a directive from, the league.
Until then, enjoy the chaos. Episode 9 of Who Assaulted Caitlin Clark Today premieres next week, sponsored by Advil Bandages and Blind Referees. Stay tuned, or don't, because if this continues, Caitlin might just tune out for all of us. We find ourselves in what seems like the WNBA's own political thriller, filled with locker room espionage, sideline surveillance, and a superstar being hunted as if she were the last golden goose on a struggling farm. But now the goose is speaking back, draining threes from logo range, and being accused of just existing too loudly. It's clear this has shifted from a basketball game to something far more bizarre, happening faster than a questionable technical foul. We're no longer pretending this is about fair play. Between Caitlin Clark's lightning-fast jump shots and Rhyne Howard's intense defensive glare, the sport has transformed from competition into a Shakespearean drama of race, power, status, and whether a rookie can dribble without facing an aggressive shove or a flying forearm. When Caitlin responds with spirited sideline energy, suddenly it's a racial controversy. Experts and sociologists flood Twitter, diagnosing microaggressions amid layups and free throws. It's no longer just basketball. This has become a battleground for politics, identity, and perception, overshadowing the game itself. If the league doesn't start addressing reckless behavior and protecting its stars, this chaos will only escalate, damaging the sport's integrity and alienating fans who just want to watch good basketball.
Caitlin Clark had another, whatever you want to call it, confrontation in a WNBA game. Like, why is this happening? The Caitlin Clark phenomenon is one that I got wrong. I never really thought that Caitlin Clark would make the difference that she has in college basketball or in the WNBA. What other sports analogies are out there that are in any way similar to the impact that one individual has had on a larger sporting?
And then enters Jemele Hill, swinging her trademark hammer of hot takes with all the subtlety of a wrecking ball in a china shop. According to her, this is all just sports, just healthy competition. Nothing to see here, move along, keep your hands, and logic inside the ride. But here's the truth. When every game ends with Caitlin Clark getting bumped, bashed, barked at, and borderline body slammed, it's no longer just competition. It's a dangerous game, a scavenger hunt for her ACL. The real tragedy is who on earth still believes this is fun for Caitlin. She entered the league promising to revolutionize women's basketball, yet instead she's witnessing a full-blown hazing ritual. At this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if her league-issued welcome gift was a Kevlar vest and a waiver form. Because this isn't just physical defense, it's targeted warfare. Some teams treat guarding Caitlin Clark like a quest from Game of Thrones. Defeat the chosen one and claim the throne of relevance. Coaches are drawing up defensive plays that resemble CIA operations. You sweep the leg. You block her with your entire body weight. You stare at her menacingly while pretending it's just part of your defensive stance. It's tactical, ruthless, and dangerously close to crossing the line from fierce competition into outright intimidation. If this pattern continues, it risks turning the league into a battleground where star players are forced to survive not just the game, but an assault on their safety and dignity.
Just the last game, Rhyne Howard of the Atlanta Dream, she got in the face and tried to go after Caitlin Clark. Now, to Caitlin Clark's credit, she turned around and looked at her and said, "You don't scare me. You don't scare me." Caitlin Clark's getting fed up. And that's good. We know she put about 10 pounds of muscle on in the offseason. But nonetheless, these people want to try to tell you this is not about race? Stop the nonsense.
And what's the WNBA doing about it? Ah, yes, absolutely nothing. Maybe they're too busy planning another welcome women brunch or issuing vague statements. Because let's be honest, when your league's biggest star is constantly targeted, elbowed, shoved, and slammed, perhaps it's time for leadership to step up beyond passive players about letting the players play. But no, they prefer to pretend this is all part of the game. That Caitlin Clark can't go a single quarter without someone trying to take her out, and we should just accept it as good defense. If this trend continues, Caitlin will need a bodyguard and a therapist before the All-Star break. Yet the league remains silent, allowing chaos to overshadow talent and safety. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.